Today we're going to be having a look at actually planting out our winter giant spinach that we sowed about a month ago now, and hopefully the majority of yours have actually germinated. I've used some older seeds, so I have had a bit of an issue with germination myself, but I do have plenty to plant out now. Stupidly, I have recorded this video without any sound, so I'm having to re-record it after I've planted them. So in a minute you'll have a look at me planting them out and there'll be no sound for that section. And then when I've remembered to actually put my mic on, you'll have sound then. So I do apologise for that. But all I have left now is just one of the soil blocks remaining compared to the whole tray that I had before. So what I've had is the majority of them have actually germinated now. I did have to go back through and add a few more seeds to some of the areas that hadn't germinated. So I've got some younger looking seedlings and then some older looking seedlings. The other thing that I've also had is actually some of them run to seed really quickly. Now, this is actually likely to be just because we've had really unseasonably hot weather that is just going to have stressed these out. So any that have run to seed, sadly, we are just going to need to pick any leaves off of them, eat them, and then the rest of the plant is just ready for the compost, really. The remainder of the seedlings in the soil blocks, obviously they're a little bit easier to take apart, but if you have got a tray, so this one I only managed to get 5 cells that have actually germinated. So for these are going to be planted out as well today, but with this particular tray you can just pop a finger on the bottom, pull them out, and then you can see the roots in the bottom, which have done very well for these small little plugs here. For a larger tray like this one, you may find that you actually need to wait until the cell has filled more with some more roots. These were germinated a little bit later than the ones that we did together, just because I realised that the seeds need using up. But what I don't want to do now is squeeze them and try and pull them out and actually rip the roots. You could use a fork if you want to plant them sooner and just very carefully lift it out with a fork. You could also use a ground staple, which is something that looks a little bit like this. This is just like a homemade one. But the thinner versions of this, you can actually pop very gently down the side of each of the cells, pinch it together, and then you'll be able to lift up each of the cells to not damage those roots that little bit easier. For these, they just need a little bit more time in this tray before they're ready to go out. Usually you'll see the roots starting to poke out the bottom if they are ready. If you haven't actually managed to sow your seeds yet, then really it is a little bit too late, particularly if you're up north. You may find that they don't germinate very well now, or that maybe they don't catch up as they don't have enough warm weather to get going and light levels as well at this time of the year. I am, however, going to use the remainder of my packet and just sow them direct, because then they have 2 chances. Spacings are around 20 centimetres between each plant for the maximum size of the giant leaves. I'm going around 15 centimetres, so a little bit closer. The plugs with the 2 plants in will produce slightly smaller leaves, and then I also have ones with the single plants in, and also ones that have germinated a little bit later. So all of them are being planted now in the soil blocks because they don't have an issue with the roots holding together. If you do, then you can just do those a little bit later if you need to, and plant the ones out that are ready straight away. I'm planting each of these at soil height. However, if you do have some that are a little bit more leggy, then you can just pop them a little bit deeper and up to the height of their true leaves. So this is the bed all planted up now with the spinach that we can see here, and then I've got some kales and some other things in here, such as the tatsoi and the pak choi, and then another kale at the back there. I also don't pull out my roots, so this celery will shoot and I'll just sort that out as and when I need to. But the spinach has plenty of room now to get going. These are in a bed along with the tomatoes. So for these tomatoes, I'm not actually watering this bed very much, so they're going to be a little bit drier. So if you are actually planting in an area where you have tomatoes and things as well, and that they're likely to split if you are now to water in, then you may want to pot the plants on and give them a little bit longer in some larger pots first, particularly if you're growing cherry tomatoes or varieties that are prone to splitting. Because I'm growing larger varieties, they should be absolutely fine with a bit of water now, and I don't usually find that it's an issue to give the rest of the bed some water once I have got those in. So I'm going to go ahead and water them now. If you have got these going into a bed outside, then I would definitely be netting these. Just a reasonably open net would absolutely be fine, but something that's just going to take away some of the harsher weather that we can have over winter will help these just do a little bit better and give them that little bit of a microclimate as well. When it comes to watering, if you've got them planted outside, it's unlikely that you'll need to water them over winter at all. If you've got them under cover, then you can usually find that at the beginning, at this time of the year, that watering them once a week and watering them really well at that point will be absolutely fine. And then later on, as the light levels drop and these really aren't growing very fast, then we should find that maybe once a month is perfectly adequate. When it comes to around sort of February or March time, when the light levels are improving, then at that point they are going to be putting on more growth and we can start feeding them again and giving them a bit more water. If you have any questions, then do please let me know, and I'm always available throughout the winter if anything is going wrong or you're not sure as well.